Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 28 of Europa Universalis IV. We are not at war. Well, that's hardly surprising. I've not really been going to war an awful lot throughout this game. We've got a few people who had military access. There was a couple of wars going on, which we weren't involved in, but we were letting people through because I don't mind people fighting against each other. We managed to take a bite out of Brittany a video or two ago. It's been a week since I played because, as you probably know, I do these in sort of batches of 5 at the moment. So we did manage to take Maine and Anjou from Brittany, which means they'll be a little bit easier to swallow up. We're going to try and vassalize them if we can later on. It would also be nice to try and take Artois and Cambrai from Austria. Although you have to be really, really careful about what you do with Austria. We're currently sucking up to Switzerland and obviously Brittany because we want to vassalize them. What can we do here? We can either lose some reform desire for Catholicism, and pretty much everyone's opinion of us would be increased, with the exception of a few, including Switzerland and Lorraine. I'm going to take it, though, because it would give us some extra opinion with Brittany and Austria, which would be nice. And I don't really want to reform at this point. So what does that give us with Brittany in terms of diplomacy? It gives us 182. Now, we are improving relations there. Transferring trade power, receiving subsidies. We could just go ahead and give them a gift. We have the money. Let's look at economy actions. In fact, we don't have a free diplomat. Let me just quickly recall you, because we won't need you there. If we want to send you a gift, 14 is enough. Let's just go ahead and send you. That puts us on 196. Now, you should now accept vassalization once our diplomat returns. Well, 29th of April. It will take a few days before we can send the diplomat back out there. Not currently vassalized with anybody else. What do we need? The 29th of April. Hopefully nobody else will be able to beat us to that. There we go. Offer vassalization. And that should be it. Okay, brilliant. So, Brittany is now our vassal. Very, very nice. What are we looking like on diplomatic relations here? 5 of 5. We do have that relation with Hainaut, which I'm not bothered about. Once the royal marriage goes away, that will disappear too. We have an alliance with Switzerland. Have a royal marriage and an alliance with Lorraine. Now, Lorraine are over here now. They're just like a single province. I don't think we can vassalize them because they are part of the HRE. Oh, no, they would accept vassalization, actually. We just need to get a high enough reputation with them. We could go ahead and suck up to them, I suppose, for the time being. Why don't you transfer trade power to me? And I'm not sure if we'll actually ever manage to get them up high enough. They have a CB, they have a claim, we're allied to the rival, neighbouring heretic religions, they're angry but that will burn away. It'll be difficult but not impossible. We'll suck up to them anyway, we'll see what happens. Certainly can't offer them vassalization right now. Let's go ahead and improve relations though, as soon as we can send our diplomat there. 8th of July, not too far away. Now, we are saving up for the embassy, hopefully. I know I do keep spending little bits of money here and there, and we do have another ship. Where is our trade fleet actually patrolling? It's in the channel. Protecting trade node Bordeaux. So if we're going to take these guys, go home at war, protect trade in the Bordeaux trade node. And they'll go and form up with the existing fleet. Since we've got another ship over here. Oh, yeah, of course we do. We have our Explorer. Well, I don't think we have a Explorer anymore. Guantanamo has become self-sustaining. That is fantastic. 19 manpower and 1 base tax. Which was this one here. We could go ahead now and try and settle Moron. I'm going to go with Moron. Or we could jump down here and try and grab Jamaica. But I don't think this is a bad one to try and grab. In fact, let's just have a look and see what we've got mission-wise. Conquer Milan, Annex Provence, or improve defences in Barra. That's not a bad one to do. Have a star fort in Barra for 5 army tradition. Let's go ahead and take that. We will, however, go ahead and colonise this here. It has a tax base of 4, so it'll be quite nice. Includes these islands down here as well. And we will go down and grab Jamaica at some point. That's Africa, which is not quite France. Barra, where are you? You're this one here. Now, if we go ahead and build a star fort, where are we? We want buildings tab. And star fort. It cost us 76 gold, but it'll be worth it. Don't want to build a march here. So you can build the marches. They're quite expensive, but they give you an awful lot of manpower increase and more attrition for enemies, better local defensiveness. The problem is a march has to be built on a province that neighbours somebody else. So you can't build it on an inland province. It has to actually neighbour or border somebody else. And then if you take that territory, you no longer have the march, so you have to build it somewhere else. It can be nice if you've got a choke point, but it's quite easy for the enemy to go around it most of the time. So generally, it isn't something that I bother with too often. It will be nice when we get an extra diplomat or 2. We might actually be able to suck up to some of these other nations around us and maybe, just maybe, be able to get some more vassals going on. Flanders up here, for example. Flanders would actually be willing to accept vassalization, and we don't really have any negative penalties against them right now. In fact, so much so, I'm going to recall my diplomat from Switzerland, because I think he's maxed out anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and send you to improve relations at Flanders and see if we can offer you a vassalization, possibly. Now, I could go ahead and make them an ally, which would put me over my diplomatic relations, but it's not necessarily a bad idea. So we will use our options. We'll try and transfer trade power. Can we royal marry them? Yes, we can. So let's go ahead and do all the things, because Flanders does have some very nice... what are we here? We can't improve relations with Lorraine anymore. Okay, recall diplomat. But what we're going to do is we are going to royal marriage Flanders. We are over our diplomatic relations, but that was expected. We knew that would happen. We're going to, on the 14th of March, get an alliance with them. Our diplomatic advisor has died. We don't really need the colonial range guy. These are both +2. Diplomatic reputation at the moment could actually be quite nice, so let's get that going. Back to Flanders. So we want to offer you an alliance. And we want to offer you transfer trade power. We can easily vassalize these guys. It's going to be quite easy to do. Might take a little bit of time. I don't think anybody else will vassalize them in the meantime. So we should be okay. Transfer trade power to us. They're actually willing to transfer quite a bit there, actually. They will transfer trade power. So we're already up to 144. And improve relations is only currently at 19. I could quite easily afford to just throw some money at them and get a huge boost on that. The main reason I want to do that is it gives... First of all, it gives us a border with what will essentially be the Netherlands at some point, potentially. These particular provinces are very, very nice. You've got... couple of these provinces at least. Yeah, so if we manage to be able to get Antwerp at some point, we've got the important centre of trade down there. And then maybe later on we can sort of get into Holland as well. That's another important centre of trade, and the Rhine estuary. So it's moving over in this direction is going to be useful to us. So, disagreeing advisor. He's been a faithful servant so far, but now he seems to have grown too insolent. He dares to denounce our great king's policies, and he recently did so in public in front of foreign ambassadors. Even if he's right, we shouldn't let that become a habit of his. So we can lose 5 prestige, and we get a 33% chance of getting 25 points in one of the 3 powers, or we can kill him off. Well, I think we'll lose the 5 prestige and we'll get some free points somewhere. Also, if we do manage to ally Flanders up here, then it does give us a little bit more ground that we can use to circle this little bit of Austria that's out here on its own. It's also quite possible that Flanders... No, it's a Burgundian claim, of course. I was just wondering if Flanders had any claims on these, because then what we might be able to do is take them and feed them into Flanders. But I think we will be okay there. Really do want to save up for that embassy. 5 army tradition. If we get that embassy, then we won't actually be over our diplomatic limit. Now, the other thing I was going to do with these guys was send them a gift. So let's go ahead and send you a gift. Now, it lasts for 60 months, so it's quite some time. 75 ducats will be enough. We're at 175. So it shouldn't take too long for us to be able to soak those guys in. Turn Moron into a city. Annex Provence, conquer Milan. I don't think we're going to be going after Milan just yet, although it's not a bad idea. Provence, you have been my vassal for how long now? If I right click instead, it'll make this a lot easier. 1534. So there's another 2 years before you can become my vassal. So I think what we will do is we will take the turn Moron into a city option. And that will give us an extra bonus to... It should be an extra bonus to manpower and tax base, I think. Yeah, what, an extra 1 base tax and an extra 19 manpower. That's on top of what the tax base would be. So, for example, if we go over here and have a look at Guantanamo, it has a tax base of 5.4. Originally would have been sort of 4 point something, or just 4. But we got the extra 1 tax base from completing the quest, and we'd have got the 0.4 from the number of natives that were here when we turned it into a city. We've got cotton over here as well. I'm not going to bother building any buildings at all over here, because what will essentially happen is it will become a colonial nation at some point. I'm assuming that Jamaica is in the same colonial region. And again, I'm going to be struggling to try and find the colonial map mode, because I always do. I can never remember which one it is. Colonial regions. There we go. Yeah, so Jamaica is in the colonial Caribbean. So that will give, if we get Jamaica, well, hang on, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll actually have 5 if we get more on. Doesn't mean we couldn't go and grab Jamaica. We might do that. That's a possibility. I'd also like to maybe get a 5th one over here so this can become a colonial nation. And also try and grab some of the East Coast USA before we start getting too many of the Western powers settling over here. So that's certainly something we need to consider. I do have a free advisor at the moment. Truce between our nations has now expired. So the truce has ended between Austria and France. And us and Savoy and Brittany. Brittany's not going to be a problem because they absolutely love us and they are our vassal. Now then, how much do Austria dislike me? I'm guessing probably quite a lot. Yeah, minus 160, which is hardly surprising. Aggressive expansion-wise, can't actually see any. There's a little bit of unlawful territory there. I mean, they still very much could go to war with us, but coalition-wise, I don't think we've got an awful lot to worry about. Yeah, looking at the coalition map mode, we are absolutely fine. So there's plenty of people that we could decide to go to war against if we wanted to. We can invest in a new idea. It would be a diplomatic idea. If we go ahead and look at our tech, we are still ahead of time. So, do we want the next diplomatic idea? Yes, of course we do. It gives us a free colonist. So, let's go ahead and grab a free colonist. Could do with another soldier over there now. We are below our force limit, so let us jump over to here. And we'll grab one of our places that has already become a city. And we will go ahead and we'll just recruit one regiment over here. This guy can then jump on the boat. We can move him over to Jamaica. Our conquistador has died, which is a shame. We can go ahead and get a military leader. Once again, we're not going to do that yet. It's a little bit pointless because there's every chance that they'll die of old age before we get into another war. We can invest in another idea now. This time it is a militaristic idea. We are still ahead of time, military-wise, just about. Would still take us another 3 years to get enough military points to go up to the next tech. I guess the important thing is, what are our neighbours on? People like Austria, for example. Austria are at military tech level 12 already. So do I really want to fall behind? What would I get for the next idea? Reinforced speed. It's useful. It is useful. Because we really do want to try and finish the defensive ideas, but I do not want to fall behind on military tech, especially with Austria as a neighbour. That would be very bad. So, how long is it going to take for that unit to finish? Not all that long at all. We're only one... there we go, actually. We can go over to Flanders now. We should be able to offer Flanders vassalization. We do have a free diplomat. So, let's go and offer vassalization. And they will say yes. No longer transferring as trade power. We don't need to continue to suck up to them anymore, because it will be a few years before we can do anything. Is there anybody else up here that we could possibly get on board? Brabant doesn't dislike me too much. Liege doesn't dislike me too much, but they are part of the HRE. Is there anybody else up here that isn't part of the HRE? Well, Holland is in most places. You would not be willing to be vassalized, I'm guessing. Yeah, you cannot vassalize countries with more than 40 total base tax. I think they've increased that. I thought it used to be less than that. I thought it used to be 25 or 30 or something like that. It seems to be 40 now. So we can't vassalize them. And yeah, they are a member of the Empire. Or at least Friesland's a member of the Empire. But that only gives us minus 30. So... technically, without the base tax issue, we would be able to vassalize them. Doesn't mean to say we can't fabricate a claim against them and then go to war over it later on. We could go ahead and... do we have any sort of relations with Hainaut? Yes, we do. We still have that royal marriage, don't we? Which I'm hoping it will break off at some point. I think I'm going to go ahead and start fabricating some claims over here. Because I don't think they're ever going to be friends of ours. So let's fabricate a claim against Namur. Because it's obviously we can't fabricate a claim against their capital. And we'll see if we can start doing some wars. Obviously we do want to be careful. We don't want to get completely smashed by Austria. That would be stupid. We do need to build some more buildings. I am saving up for the embassy though. We have this guy over here. We'll wait for him to get to full morale. Because he may get attacked when we drop him off. Biomo will now produce sugar. Fantastic. We were discovered while fabricating that claim. That was pretty quick, but I think we'll be okay all in all. And that gave us a little bit of a reputation hit there, I think, with Flanders, but it's fine. You're actually fine to get on now. We'll put you on board the ship, and the ship can come and land on Jamaica. Got to be careful here. We've got some British ships around. Not too sure what he's attempting to do. Not sure why it never lets me drop troops onto the island for some strange reason. Maybe it's because they need to be in this bit of water here. Doesn't really make it all that clear. Military access from Portugal. Yep, fine, you can have it. Military access from the Papal State. Fine, you can have it. Yeah, well, let me drop off here. Would you like to get out? Yes, you can get out that way. I'm not sure why it's not working by right-clicking on there. I think that's changed. I'm not sure whether that's some sort of glitch. You used to be able to do it that way. But we do have a free colonist, so let's go ahead and colonise Jamaica. It's got a tax base of 6, which is going to be very nice. You can go and dock at Guantanamo. So that is fine. Not going too badly so far. Definitely continuing with things. Now, do we really want to go to war with anybody is the question. Is there anybody small that we could pick off? Switzerland are getting pretty small these days. Now, Switzerland are also part of the HRE. And to that end, they definitely wouldn't accept... Or they would actually accept vassalization. And they do like us. But they are angry. They are still receiving subsidies. Obviously, at some point, I decided that I was going to try and... butter them up with a view to possibly annexing them. Probably still will. Savoy hate me, I think. Well, they don't hate me, but they don't particularly like me either. Milan, we could potentially go and attack. Are Milan part of the HRE? I think they well might be. They're improving Austria's opinion of them. They've got a fair few allies. Croatia, Corsica, Naples, Tuscany. Yeah, maybe not the easiest people to go to war against. Provence, you're almost at the point now where I can integrate you. The 14th of July. So we will integrate Provence at some point. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the mission to do that because we won't... Well, we don't have to do it straight away, I suppose. We could wait a little while. That's not a problem. But it would be nice if we could soak them in. Sugar will now be produced in Moron. That is fine. What else do we want to have a look at here? Force limits and naval limits. We are under our force limit. We could build another 5 units, and we probably should. What have we got here then? Imports compete with French quality goods. We can either lose to mercantilism, and we get trade steering plus 10%. Castile's opinion of us changes by plus 20. Or we can gain 2 mercantilism, and Castile like me a little bit less. We'll take the 2 mercantilism. I can fully see at some point we might well end up going to war with Castile. That's almost definitely going to be a thing at some point. So I wouldn't be the slightest bit surprised if that happens. Who are Castile allied with at the moment? They're allied with Portugal. They're allied with the Papal State. And they're rival in England. It's a shame that England is rival to me. Yeah, England has rivaled me, which is a little bit of a shame. Minus 200. Most of that coming from the rival. Bit of aggressive expansion, competing great powers, yeah. We'll never be friends with England, unfortunately, which is a shame because we could have ganged up on Spain. We will have some fights at some point. So we can either gain 40 military power and lose 100 odd ducats, or we can lose 10 prestige. I'm already quite low on prestige, and military power would be nice. It'll get us closer to teching up. We should have enough money now to be able to go and build the embassy. And it's a unique building. Let's just go and put it in Ile-de-France, because obviously it's one of our most defended locations. Now that has spent most of our money, but we will be fine. Our manpower is not currently maxed out. We will attempt to do something about that. Looks like we've got some pagans, or Quaker heretics up there. That's not too bad, not too much of a problem for me. But we are over the 20-minute mark, so it's probably a good point to end the video. So I'm just going to hit pause there before anything untoward happens. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying EU4, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.